that my grandfather was Austrian, my mother was Hungarian, and I was Romanian. These are three different countries, okay? And we were all born in the same house.
Why? So that Ford GT had 16 times more power than your first car?
My first Porsche, maybe 8 times.
Okay.
Okay.
Very, very interesting. And going back to your history, what happened later? What's between Volkswagen and Volvo?
Through process of elimination, I didn't want to work on cars anymore. Because I noticed that the guys who were in the showroom were making more money than I was.
Okay.
And they had clean hands.
Yeah.
Okay? So there was an ad in the newspaper. One of the Volkswagen dealers was looking for a salesman. I applied. The manager liked the fact that I was a mechanic because he needed somebody in a sales department when they were taking cars in trade to drive the car to see if there was any problems. Okay, so he took me as a salesman, but my job really was, okay, but I became a good salesman.
Because
Okay.
you knew the product.
I knew the product. Okay, and I started selling more cars than the other guys.
Yeah.
Okay, and so I worked there for about a year and a half. They had an opening for a used car manager. I wanted that job. Okay. He wouldn't give it to me because I was too young. Okay,
How old?
21.
Okay.
So I get pissed off. So I answered another ad from another place where they were opening a new Volkswagen dealership, and they wanted a sales manager. Okay, and they gave me the job. It was in a very bad neighborhood in New York, very bad. Okay, and I mean, people used to shoot at us with guns from the apartments. I mean, this was a very, very rough neighborhood.
Okay.
I know I got the job. Nobody wanted to go there.
Yeah. Nobody wants to die
Nobody
working.
wanted to die. I mean, this was a, it was like a war zone.
Okay. You went to work with a helmet?
No, I didn't give a shit. I didn't care. So this was about 1968. I worked there as the sales manager, and then I decided I want to have my own company again, my own business. But I didn't want to shop.
Why? It was too small?
I just had enough.
Okay.
I had enough of fixing cars. In New York, especially in the wintertime, you take a car, you put it up in the air, all the snow and ice and things are falling all over you. It's just not a fun
Okay.
thing. So I opened a parts store. Okay, because foreign cars were new in America at that time, and not too many places had parts. So I opened a store for parts, and downstairs was a basement. I had an engine shop. I was building engines and rebuilding generators, starters, and rebuilding engines.
That parts you were selling, where did you get it? You were a reseller or?
I was a reseller. I imported most of the parts from Germany. Because initially I started for Volkswagen, only parts for Volkswagen. And it was very easy back then because the same part fit many years.
Yes.
It's very common.
Like now.
Same.
Volkswagen has been the same for many years.
So it was a relatively easy. It was easy to fix. I had a lot of experience already because I've fixed them for many years. And many people that bought parts from me, if they had problems, I could tell them how to fix it and what to do, where to put it. And if they had a major problem, like a generator, even the front link pin and kingpins, starter, anything rebuilt, they would bring it to me. And at night, when we closed the shop, I would rebuild it.
And then what happened?
Well, I was there for, I don't know how many years, till about 1975, from 1969,
6 years.
6 years. And then I had a little lot next door, and I used to buy some used cars and fix them and leave them there, and somebody come, I would sell it and make some money. And I started liking that business, okay? I already had the experience because I was selling for Volkswagen as a sales manager, so I understood the process. So I sold the parts store, and I bought a dealership a few towns in Long Island. I was a Fiat dealer, a Citroen dealer, but the biggest portion of the business was that I was bringing exotic cars from Europe. Rolls Royces, Bentleys, Maseratis, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and a lot of other different cars. I was bringing them from Europe and selling them to the wealthy people in the New York area.
Talking about that years, they were not distributors from that.
There were distributors. Fiat was here. It was in America.
No, but talking about Rolls Royce, Lamborghini.
Rolls Royce there was a dealership in New York for Rolls Royce, but I brought all the Rolls Royces used.
Okay.
Everything I sold was used, very
Okay.
used,
Very used.
very used.
Okay.
I would go to auctions and buy cars.
Okay.
Now, many of the cars I bought and sold, okay, let's say I would buy a Ferrari for $7,000-8,000 and sell it for $10,000 or $12,000. Today it's worth $5-6 million. Some of those cars. Back then they were old cars. Today they're collectibles. Okay, so some of the cars that I've traded back then today are.
Have you recognized anyone you see now and you said, "Oh, I brought this car to America"?
I have one
Yeah.
that I kept that I bought back. I sold, then I bought it again, then I brought it back, that I still have.
Really?
Yeah.
How many cars do you have?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Continuing with the history, we are in 1975, more or less.
1975, I sold the parts house, and I had this car dealership in Long Island. And then Honda came into America around that time. Honda.
Yeah.
And I got a Honda dealership, one of the early Honda dealerships. We're selling some little Civics.
Yeah.
That's all they had was one little model, one little Civic. Okay. And I eventually decided I did not like retail. I didn't want to be open 6-7 days a week for 12 hours a day.
Why?
You know, I just didn't like it.
Okay.
Okay.
But there was money.
There was money, you know, but customers, old cars come back, problems. It was a very difficult business. I didn't have enough time for me. Okay. So I decided that I wanted to be in a business. But it didn't matter where I was. As long as the UPS truck can find me, I'm in business. Okay. So, you know, in my parts house on a Saturday morning, I'd go to work. And people working on their cars on Saturday, so they needed parts. By the time I got to the store, there was a line on the street waiting to come in. Okay. So, I should have been jumping up and down happy because it's all money, right? I used to get all upset with myself inside. I said, holy shit, I gotta take care of all these fucking people.
Okay.
Okay. So I was just not cut out for that business. Okay. It's not for me.
Yeah. It's not all about the money. Also, you have to feel comfortable.
I never work for money.
Okay. Money is a consequence of what you do.
I'm lucky I'm doing something that is bringing money because I could just as well be doing something but it's not bringing money.
Yeah, of course.
You know. That's the reason I never really finished school.
Yeah.
I didn't like to study. Okay.
Me too.
You know,
Me too.
So-
I understand.
I had somebody ask me one time, why did I go into my own business? And I explained to them sincerely that I am unemployable. Okay, I am not the kind of person that anybody will ever employ. I would not employ myself.
Okay.
Okay, because I do what I want to do. Okay, not because I'm bad or nasty or mean or anything else. It's just my temperament. If I like something, I do it very, very well.
You know,
If I don't like something, I don't do it.
you don't pay attention to it.
No.
Okay.
I think today they have a medical term for it. It's called attention deficit
Yeah,
syndrome.
yeah. I have.
Okay,
I have it
but
too.
back then they didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So
You just were a strange
Yeah.
one.
I was just a strange guy.
Yeah. I know. In Spanish is TDA.
Whatever.
You cannot wake up early. You work at night. If it's not interesting for you, you don't pay attention. You begin thinking about other things. And I know it. So you had the Honda distributor. What came later?
I'm trying to remember what happened afterwards. Car dealership, Honda. I went through a divorce. Divorce. Okay. And I sold the dealership and I moved in with two other guys in Connecticut somewhere. And neither one of us worked. We smoked a lot of pot, had girlfriends, had a good time.
Okay.
Okay, a lot of
Enjoy
parties,
life. Okay.
you know.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay.
Okay,
I understand.
I didn't pay attention to anything.
Okay.
The only thing that kept me grounded was David, because David was already born,
Okay.
and I didn't want to lose that relationship. So every week I would go and be with him. Okay, so he was the one who kept me somewhat balanced. And then I got bored of partying and smoking pot and not having any money. You know, you can only do that for so long. And I had a friend who used to bring me parts when I had the car dealership, an English guy. And he used to bring me exhaust systems that he used to bring from England to us that I used to put on the old Rolls Royces and Bentleys. So he asked me one day, said, look, why don't you be my partner? Okay. He says, the only reason I brought these parts was for you. You're no longer in the business. I don't know who to sell them to, but I have good sources. Okay. And so I was not doing anything. I picked up my clothes and whatever I had in the house in Connecticut, and he and I went to New York. We had an apartment. This apartment, he had a mattress on the floor in his bedroom, television set on the floor. In the kitchen, he had one of those folding tables with one chair. Okay.
Nothing
He had
else.
one dish, one set of forks, okay, and an old couch that nobody knew how it got in there because they couldn't take it out.
Okay.
Okay, so
They put in before finishing building
I don't
the.
know, maybe they took
Okay.
it apart. I don't know.
Okay.
So I lived with him. I slept on the floor in a sleeping bag.
For how long?
I don't know, a few months, and we took turns eating because we only had one dish. Okay, and we started selling exhaust systems for Rolls Royce and Bentleys to other shops that were fixing these cars. And it started growing a little at a time, okay? And one day he comes to me and says, look, I don't know anything about cars. I don't like this business. I'm going to California. Here's the key. It's yours.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going away. So I bought him a car, so he had something to drive. And the business was not worth any money. And I kept on selling parts. But I had trouble with my supplier in England. he was uncomfortable because I was the only customer he had in America. So he started setting up other customers. And the Rolls Royce market is a very small market. And he could not supply me because now he was supplying 3 people. Okay. So one day I decided, you know what? I'm going to make these parts myself. Okay.
Like the history of Enzo Ferrari and Ferruccio Lamborghini.
Yeah. Same
No?
kind of shit.
Okay. Okay.
So I had a friend in Connecticut who used to import gray market cars into America, and then he used to bring them up to standard. So he knew how to fabricate, how to weld, how to cut, how to make things. I was a mechanic, I didn't know how to weld, I didn't know how to do all those things. So he said, come up here, work with me for a couple of weeks, I teach you.